I guess now we're all leaving. Hi guys, welcome to ArcLive. Good to see you. We sort of just dropped in the middle of us talking. We're joined by two very special guests, so I guess...
One special guest.
Oh,
Very humble James. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
We know it's been a while since our last ArcLive episode, and so I guess we'll just sort of give you a rundown of who we are again in case you forgot, starting with our very special guest.
Yes, very special guest.
Is that me?
That's you.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Oh, okay.
Carrie Keranen.
I'm Carrie Keranen. I'm a voice actor and voice director for several years. I've worked on a bunch of different projects. Most notably for tonight, Kill la Kill, the series, and then Return for the video game. And I was also System, the announcer in Blaze Blue Cross-Tag Battle.
Yes. Cross-Tag Battle. It is a tongue twister.
Not confusing at all.
Which was super fun, and yeah, so yeah, we're gonna hang out tonight and talk about some Kill la Kill it.
Perfect. Welcome to the show. Just a quick rundown of what we'll be doing. We'll be going through a lot of the Q&A questions that you guys submitted via Twitter. And so we're going to be asking Carrie all those sorts of things that you guys had on your mind there. We're going to do all the things, all sorts of
Everything
questions.
that's been on anyone's mind.
Yes.
I'm gonna answer tonight.
Absolutely.
Wow, okay, this is
It's gonna be a long stream, guys.
exclusive here, right? Okay.
We'll be doing that, and then we'll also be playing the game for the first time.
Yes.
So you'll finally get a chance to play your character and sort of see what it's all about. We also
I've heard you're an expert at the game already.
Yes.
Oh, I'm really good at
a professional video game player. And so we'll all
That's
be...
gonna be a special treat.
We're very ready to be very impressed.
Yeah.
We also haven't shown off any of the English dub for you guys yet. And so for any of you who have been waiting to get some footage of that, tonight's going to be your first time to get a hold of that. And so lots of exciting stuff for you guys on the way. Two more quick introductions in way. I guess we'll go next to James.
Yeah, I'm James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. I've been commentating fighting games for, we were just talking about this for a very long
Since
time.
like 1952.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's
Enough
correct.
that I've had people tell us that they've grown up watching me commentate.
I'm sorry I said that. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I thought it was endearing.
I'm gonna leave now.
No, don't go.
I need my old man nap now.
You already had it.
Yeah, I know, right? I already did. I literally did.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give away what an old man James is already. I came in today to record the show, and I was like, "Oh, is James here already?" And then some of our production staff was like, "Oh, James is here. He's just taking a nap upstairs." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It was 100%.
That's fair.
You got here early enough to take a nap before the stream.
Not to expose you on stream. So if you're a fan of ArcLive, you've definitely seen James Chen here before. Fan of great guest of the show. We love him. I am Kenny, aka Zotbuster on Twitter. I'm a production coordinator at ArcSystemWorks. If you guys have
Expert
been
Potemkin player as well.
former, I am now retired.
Oh,
Yes,
retired.
I'm now retired.
Oh.
I'm not
Did you
allowed.
have like a party?
I
And,
didn't know.
Like set your controller down.
I should've. I'm leaving the window open so that if I ever do get to come
Oh, so
back,
he's
then-
like retired.
yeah, I get
Yeah,
retired. Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say if we had that party and I wasn't invited,
I know. I didn't know
upset
it was
about
a
this,
ceremony
right?
when that
No,
happened.
it kind of is,
Okay.
but don't tell this to you. I'm keeping it on the down low.
Okay.
Yes, but now that I'm an ArcSystemWorks employee, I can no longer compete in the fighting games.
Oh,
I used to
okay.
compete, but
Oh,
now I'm too corporate though. I'm too corporate for it. Yeah, in my suit here.
Yeah, very corporate.
Yeah, super
If this is
corporate.
corporate, this is awesome.
Yes,
This
this
is the best
is
version of corporate.
this is
I've
kind of
ever
the
seen.
vibe that our company goes for.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
with the cowboy hat and like the. You should talk about the
Oh, yeah.
amazing
Oh,
prop you have, by the way.
yes.
Because that is not ours.
I brought my June cats back at AX. I think 2 or 3 years ago, right after the series wrapped. We had a panel with like the entire cast. And I've been the original voice actress, the Japanese actress. She had done. I had seen online that she had dressed in the schoolgirl outfit and did like the pigs in human clothing speech, right? And I was like, oh my god, that's dope, right? So that's so cool. And I was like, oh, so now if I did something, she's already done that. So like, I guess I'll do her transformed version. But I did a very like PG-13 version of the transformed version.
Well, because
So-
later on I'm gonna put that on.
Oh,
and get the
100%.
strap.
yes.
I'm
Yeah,
definitely.
no,
Straps
it's
and
gonna.
everything.
That's
I'm
exclusive content
definitely
later.
go.
So if you really are a James fan,
Yeah.
then this is the program for you.
So I wore it the one time. I told my producer, I was like, I'm gonna cosplay Satsuki in June Cats, and she was like, no, you'll get thrown out. No, it's be fine. It's gonna be okay. I'm gonna cover everything. So no one believed me, even though I told them for months I was going to do it.
Oh, no.
And then I showed up and I was like walking in, and June Cats is peeking out of my bag, and Patrick Seitz, who plays Gamagori, he was like, texted me like, did I just see you walk by with June Cats in your bag? And I was like, maybe.
Stuffed her in the bag.
So I'm like changing backstage, and everyone's like, what is happening? And so I did the panel dressed as Satsuki, and then but I never had a chance to wear it again because I can't really take it to conventions. That would be like its own suitcase.
Right.
Yes, it's huge.
So then I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna bring it.
Well, it's awesome.
So I brought it.
Thank you so much for bringing it. I'm definitely a fan.
Okay, well,
And I appreciate you trying it on.
Yeah,
You tried it on.
I tried it and we almost couldn't
just
get it off.
barely
Yeah.
got it, and then
We almost
got
did the
it.
jaws of life. I did not fit it too great, but it's awesome.
It was almost on him permanently.
Yes,
for the
it
rest
was.
of his life.
Which
Yeah.
I think would have been fine. We would have left it on for the show, and then we would cut you out later.
That,
Just
I would feel really
later,
bad for the
like,
fan who
way
made it
later.
though, because that would hurt me to break up.
I
their-
actually hired a costume director that I know, and then a woman, her name is, and then Mandy Moss, she made that because she was starting to
Gotcha,
get into
gotcha.
She's called Warbler.
Warbler.
Yeah, she was just starting to work with that, and so I was like, hey, you want to try making this? And she was like, sure. So the two of them together. So Lynn Muggeridge, who does a lot of my costuming for my shows, and Mandy put that together for me.
Nice.
That's so
Because
cool.
I have no talent. I think cosplay is amazing. I have no talent in
I
that
totally
way.
feel that, yeah.
I never understood, and then I met someone, and I helped try to make a costume, and I was like, this is so much
Yeah.
work. Oh my god.
You never really know how hard it's gonna be.
Yeah, and especially when you see like really good ones, you see like all the detail, and you're like you just know like what that
Well,
and
thank
the
you for bringing
wigs and everything. Anyway, yes.
It's glorious, and I'm sure we'll mess with it a bit later. I'll give the chat a little bit of breakdown on the game as well. If you're new to the game, it's coming out very soon. It's called Kill la Kill If. It's coming out July 26th this year.
1 month.
1 month away.
Exactly.
Just exactly 1 month
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you get to try it out very, very soon. It's coming out for PS4, PC, and Switch, and so you'll be able to play it on your platform of choice. We also have a limited edition version coming out, which is very exciting. And so it has all sorts of cool goodies inside of it. You're going to get a special edition box that has all the characters on it with some really cool art, a full color 36-page art book with some concept art for the game, really cool promotional stuff, a really huge soundtrack with all the character tracks on it. Every single character's themes are included, which is awesome. I'm a huge fan of the soundtrack, so I believe it's 33 songs.
Dang,
I think, or 31 or 33. Before someone over
Yeah, I know,
overlord
right,
comes
yeah.
at me, you said the wrong.
32
It's
songs
32
and a
songs.
rewrite.
How dare you? And then it also comes with a little squish toy that looks like Mako's face.
Oh!
So in the show, she has the croquettes that her family makes, and so it's a little croquette that is shaped like her.
Nice.
And it comes in a really cute, Mako themed takeout box, and so it's really adorable.
Dang, nice.
If you're a fan of Kill la Kill, Arc System Works games in general, be sure to look into that. Our pre-orders for that are going to go live soon, and so just stay tuned to our social media. We should have info for that very, very soon. Some details with the game. It's a 3D arena fighter, very built for newcomers to these sorts of games. So
Newcomers, he points at me. The newcomers.
No.
I was really putting it, James.
Expert.
Yes, you are the expert.
I'm
Exactly.
here to steal your strategies.
yeah.
I want to learn from
I
the best.
have so many
I
to
wanna
share
learn.
with you.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
many.
It's a whole new story based on the Kill la Kill anime, and so it's very much built for fans of the anime, where it drops you right into the middle of the story, right into the middle of the action, and so it kind of expects you to have some knowledge about the show coming in.
Beautiful as well.
Oh,
Honestly.
totally.
They're so good at
Mhm.
just doing this now
Oh my
between all
gosh.
the games they've been doing now.
Exactly.
So
If you're a
it's
fan
so
of the Guilty Gear Exard and Dragon Ball Fighters,
Right.
it looks very similar graphically to those games.
I
It's
mean,
got
you always know it's that level where they were showing clips from the anime and the game, and I couldn't.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
I know,
exciting.
it's like exactly.
When you look at a
Yeah.
screenshot and you can't tell if it's 2D or not, absolutely.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
definitely the style they're going
Yes,
for.
yes.
Obviously, it's dual audio, and so the whole game is in English and Japanese. You'll be able to pick which track you prefer.
Of course you're gonna
of course
play
you're
the
gonna
English track. You're gonna play the
Right.
English track.
Right.
You'll be able to hear it tonight, and then be oh, the English is so great, I gotta play that. And then as well, there's 2 more characters than what we've announced. There is Ultimate Double Naked DTR, and there's Ultimate Double Naked DTR.
Ultimate double naked.
You gotta say the whole thing.
Ultimate double naked DTR.
Ultimate double naked. Double naked DTR.
Perfect. Exactly.
Nice.
And Mako Mankanshoko as well. Riko's best friend. Her Fight Club version is going to be
Yes,
an incredible
it
character.
has to be.
Yes, absolutely.
It would
Those are
have to be.
free DLC.
Those are free
right?
DLC,
Yeah,
so
okay.
day 1 launch DLC, they're free, you'll be able to download them
Nice.
right as you get the game. Fans have been asking for months, oh, is Mako in the game? Like,
Right,
please tell me
it's
Mako's
like,
in the game.
I mean, if you're gonna make a fight game of Kill la Kill, you have to have
Absolutely.
Fight Mako.
So-
you have to have Fight Club Mako.
I'm excited for her, she's one of my favorite characters, and so you can look forward to that DLC popping out soon. I think we're just going to head straight into the questions for you.
Oh,
So we
okay.
have a bunch of questions prepared from Twitter.
I mean, first of all, do you want to ask any questions or anything?
Ooh.
Like that, you know?
Oh.
Mix it in. We can
Yeah,
Twitter.
we'll start with the Twitter ones, and then I'm sure we'll both want to
Yeah,
bounce
yeah,
off of
for
things.
sure.
that
I mean,
go
this is
through.
gonna go off the rails real fast.
Yes, I can already
We've
tell.
already been like chatting.
Yeah, from our tangent about like the cosplay stuff, like
Yes.
it's
These
bound to
cups,
happen.
this is not water.
I'm gonna
I'm just
go.
kidding.
I had a little bit of coffee before I came.
Oh, okay,
so just,
Completely
I'm like,
understandable.
ready.
Cool.
Ready.
All right, then let's head right into it.
Yes.
The first question from the fans, we have one from @JC Kadena. First off, you did a fantastic job.
Yay!
Very, very, very kind. My question is, if there were a second season of Kill la Kill, how would you like the story to be? Maybe focusing more on other characters.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, because I always thought that the follow up with that they already made was like such a great look at like life after.
Mhm.
You know, because I'm so fascinated with this idea of when we see these characters that have like such like a singular focus and a purpose, you know, for an entire series, and then that's been her whole life, right?
Right.
Her whole life has been that. And then it gets resolved,
Mhm.
and now here she has like a sister.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like now it's like who are these people, and what do they look like, and how do they move on, and what is your life become? What's the purpose of your life
Right.
now?
You're
when
ready.
your
You're ready
singular
for
focus?
the super deep slice of life that
Yeah,
takes
I
place
mean,
after.
Yeah, I mean
Yes.
for me, I want this like I want college years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
that's a cool thing too. I
Yeah.
gotta imagine as a voice actor, like what if you get to explore a different side of the character.
yeah,
You know.
like especially even towards the end of the series, just like I think the first time she had to laugh, I was like, I don't know what I'm laughing. I was smile the whole time, you know. But I feel like after the thread, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's like Satsuki and Ritsuko, Satsuki and Ryuko, like trying to like live together as sisters, like in
Their
the
awkward
house,
dorm
and
life.
like yeah, or you know with like Mako's hanging around
Right.
all the time, and you know like and what does Gamagori do now? Like what even the Elite Four, like what do they do now?
Mhm.
You know, so yeah, so I have
That's a
those.
great
So, like, you know what I mean?
You
For
pitched
me-
it. You pitched it so well that now I am invested,
Yeah, I know.
and I am
But I
ready
mean,
for
like,
this.
just
Like,
change
super-
genres, change
I know, it'd be
genre
like a
completely.
completely
Yeah,
different
exactly.
show. Because I don't know what else would keep like the action. Like, what's the next thing that they would like fight for?
against.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
New force
So
or something. you know.
yeah, I mean, like unless some new force
Right,
came
right.
or another alien invasion.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
But then you're sort of repeating like what you already did. So
Mhm.
like, what's the
Going in
value
a
in
different
that?
direction sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm into
Kill
like
kill
you
the
know.
college years. Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Kill la Kill after story.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like
Cool.
roommates.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm super invested. Our next question is from Hierarchy of Meme, which is quite a name.
Yeah.
Satsuki is a character that emits such raw energy simply by clacking her heels.
True story.
She's rife with ambition and power and a strong voice to boot. How did you feel once you learned of her character, and what, if anything, did you have to do to prepare for providing her voice?
This is a great one. Actually, everyone was super surprised when I booked it. Like me,
Okay.
the director, the producer, like everyone. In fact, they said that when they were first doing, every time you cast something, like you already have like a sense of some people in the world that you're like,
Mhm.
oh, I'd love to hear their take on this,
Right.
right? And they said that they were like, literally, like they were like, we don't really know who Satsuki's gonna be.
Mm.
And because of my natural personality, most people don't see me as these kinds of roles,
Right.
really.
Like stern. Like,
Yeah,
you don't
right.
come across
I'm
as
like,
Satsuki in real life. Yeah.
you know. So, but I remember having, so I got the call back for it, for her and 2 other characters. And yeah, so I was as surprised as anyone when I booked it, because like my Ryuko would be more like my spirit animal,
Right.
you know what I mean? But it was genuinely challenging because there's something of this line in her that she can never seem out of control. She can never be out of control.
Right.
She can never feel out of control, right? And so like all of her energy has to come from like, but she has to have that like power and like authority, like you're saying. So I swear after my second session, I texted my director and I was like, listen, everyone gets fired at some point in the career, and I get replaced. I'm like, I get it. I've replaced people. I totally understand. Like, it's been such a joy working with you. You know, like, sent this whole like preemptive text, and he was like, what are you talking about? But I was like, oh my, it was really, really hard. And so I actually called Michael Sinter Nicholas, who does like Dean Venture, and he was Leonardo in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he just and he was my very first director on my very first project, Casca and Berserk, and
Well, okay. Now that it's come up,
Okay.
probably my favorite role you've done.
Oh,
Berserk has one of my favorite dubs, and that's a big part of it. So.
Oh God, it's so brutal,
Yes,
right? Oh
yes.
yes. I called him up and I was like, what
It's a time. It's a rough time.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I had friends of mine who saw that and then would call me after.
Are
Like,
you
they'd be
okay?
Really, really.
Yeah.
They would check and be like, oh my
Yeah.
God, are you okay?
Yeah.
Or they'd check in. They'd be really, really mad.
Yes.
About how it
Oh,
ended.
yeah.
They'd be like, I can't believe that. And I was like, okay, so okay, I appreciate that, but like, I'm okay.
I remember I watched it in my short. Sorry to jump in the conversation.
Oh,
Short. I remember watching that in my senior year of high school, the movies with friends, and I went to a private Christian high school, so they weren't very used to material like that per se. Like it wasn't necessarily in our realm.
And you didn't wear
I did not
them.
wear them at all, and so
Rude.
I
it was.
know, right?
That was what I was going for.
I
And
have
so-
heard enough about it
I
to
don't-
know that it's rude.
Yes.
So.
They did not speak to me for a week after.
I can imagine. I can
It was a rough
imagine.
time, yes. But it
yes.
is one of my
But
favorite
eventually
things.
They spoke to
Oh,
you.
they love it. Yeah.
They just needed to digest it.
It takes a time. It takes a while
Yes.
to recover.
Yes.
So.
Which I mean, you like about art. You know, you
Yes.
like
Yeah.
things that
Well, I
are
mean,
going
like,
to affect you.
When you were doing that, though, was that the first time you've done a character like that? You know.
Casca was my first character.
Right. Oh no, I mean even Satsuki, you know, for being so serious.
Well,
and
yes.
stuff
So
like
I
that.
called him and I was like, what do I do? And he
Uh-huh.
told me, because my energy can be very like all over the place, and so he told me, he was like, get a pen, hold on to the pen, and just send the entire performance down the end of the pen. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I need a pen. There weren't any pencils. There were only pencils. I was like, I need a pen.
It's very specific.
Right.
And I was like, but I was
Yeah.
like wanting like a red, like I didn't want like a big, thick, weird clippy
Yeah.
pen. Like I was like, I had a very
Those four-colored
specific pen.
pens,
No,
you know, from
yeah, I
elementary
wanted like
school,
a
you know.
regular.
Yeah.
So I would use the pen and I would just like focus everything down the tip of the pen, and then after a while I could like set the pen down. And then if I was struggling again, I'd be like, oh, I need a pen. So like that was like my like go-to, and then after a while we had like it was always the same files that they would play, like, take my blood, Junkets. It is the eternal vow between you and I. You know what I mean? It was like that was like my catchphrase from then on out. But yeah, it was the pen. It was,
That's super
Pen-
cool.
it was
Pen
super hard,
is
and I
mightier than
super
the sword, right?
100% thought I was getting fired from that job.
So for any aspiring voice actors out there, now you know the secret to
That's
playing
our
a character
secret, yes.
that does not fit your
Like-
inherent personality.
And it can also be like the opposite, that like if it's a character that's like bigger than you have to be like, you have to send your performance down like a 5-foot tunnel. You know what I mean? If you're like, you can't get it, well, no, you got to send it this way, you
Right.
know? So it can be an interesting, it can ignite certain things in your imagination to sort of help you through, like, you know what's happening, you have meaning, you just like aren't quite, it's not quite filling the correct size space.
Right.
That's-
Yes.
It's one way to be
That's
like,
so
okay, I
cool.
have my performance, I just need to send it down a bigger or a smaller.
You just had this look of like the most pure, sincere joy, and,
It's so
and I think it's
cool,
coming
yeah,
from a place of you being a commentator, where you're just like gonna go
Yeah,
home with that. info
yeah, I
now.
know.
Yeah,
I'm just like commentating, looking at a pen now. You
Well,
know?
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right.
Though, like the space that it's living, because I think that that's the thing about anime is that we talk about it as if it's one genre, but
Right.
it
It's
holds
everything.
100
Yeah.
stories. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Stories of different sizes and different, you know, like some are
Has
very
different
serious,
emotions, yeah.
looks, feels. Like the art is different. You know, so like you can't talk about how to voice act inside of anime and even games too.
Yeah.
Like it's one genre with like a 1,000 different facets. You know what I mean? So you have to like learn to like how do you take your art and like dial it in and live inside the world that is in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, so that the people who are experiencing it makes sense to them. You know, because we've all experienced something where like, this feels like a lot for what's happening. You're like, this is a lot coming at me.
Especially with a franchise as extravagant as Kill la Kill, that makes a lot of sense.
And also because it is, there's parts of the show that do hold a bigness to them, or like, you know, what they're doing with the animation and stuff, but you still, it has to be like very sincere and grounded inside of the chaos, but yeah, anyway.
Cool.
Pen, it's all
pen.
about
At the end of the day, it comes all back to the pen.
We're gonna get through 3 questions.
I mean, if you don't mind, if I add an extra question, because I'm actually curious about this, because you're doing an English dub, there's already a Japanese one, so someone's already done the voice. So do you listen to that and use that for inspiration, or do you try to make up your own thing?
Oh, you always listen to the reference, because the reference, especially in a game, like in an animation, if you're doing any kind of animation that is a dub or live action, you at least have the picture in front of you. So you can pick up context clues about their like face, their mouth, whatever, how far away they are from people, all that kind of stuff. But in game situations, unless they're far enough along in the process that they have like a cut scene for you to like act against. Almost always there's no context. Like visually you have no idea, you know, so you're always listening to that original file and just trying to pick up like and it's challenging when like if your character is like just a little bit different than theirs, then you have to like listen to what they're doing, like understand their point of view, like pick up on like their point of view and their emotion and like how strongly they're feeling that emotion, and then like translate that into like your version of the character, right? So you're always like referencing and sort of trying to, you know, because you're not trying to remake someone else's art. You know what I mean? You're trying to like honor that and like just deliver that story.
You don't want to just carbon copy it. You want to like bring something from yourself into it. But you also don't want to be like, forget what they did. This is why you're here.
I know, this is so cool. I could probably ask you these questions first. I could go to the next question.
Okay.
So, you know,
we'll move on to the next question.
Hog this
But yeah, very cool. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. From @Crusher2503, an easy one. What's your favorite Satsuki quote?
Do not ask the sparrow how the eagle soars! That is my favorite.
I can tell it's your favorite because you were ready to belt.
I was like,
you didn't have to think about it.
I signed it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the quote I signed.
That's amazing.
Yes, I love that moment. But I also just like that for me really encapsulates the character. You know what I mean? She's like, don't talk to me if you're not on my level. You know what I mean? And like, you get on my level, and then you talk to me. You know what I mean? And she's always testing people. Awesome. And at first it feels like it's just personal, like she's just like, it comes from conceit or something. But really what she's trying to do is get everybody to be the best version that they can be of the thing that they're great at, so that she can utilize all of that later, you know?
Yes.
But at first it feels like, you earn your stars. Talk to me, Bob.
I definitely feel like out of the characters in the show, Satsuki has the most interesting character arc. Where I think she's one of like the most fascinating, like deep characters in the show. And
I didn't know about it.
Really?
Oh, really?
My director told me not to look at it.
Interesting.
He was like, don't look at anything. Don't look ahead. Don't. And we were recording it really close to when they were. It was like coming out in Japan, and we were like already halfway. Like we were really close. The turnaround was pretty fast, so I would have had to like look for the information, you know. And some of it might have been out there, but he was like, "Don't."
So it was almost kind of like he wanted you to be more surprised by yourself.
Yeah, he wanted me to like go through. But what happened was we had a launch at I think it was Otakon, and I saw someone. I saw someone dressed as Satsuki but wearing senkets. And I was like, and I was walking with Christine, and I go like, oh, what a cool mashup. And Christine goes, wait, you don't know? And I go, no, what? And she goes, nothing. Nothing. And I was like, wait a second. Because apparently he might have said that to Erica, but for specifically me, he was like, don't look.
Yeah,
That
maybe
is
because
so
your
cool.
character
Like-
goes through an arc, right? So he wants you to be surprised by it.
Yeah, he didn't want me. And maybe it was because I was having so much trouble playing the villain at the beginning. I don't know. He like, didn't want to let me off the hook.
Right.
But yeah, so I had no idea what was coming.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
That's a really good piece of info. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
yeah.
I love that now.
I know, right?
That makes it so much better for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
After I record, no spoilers because this is out obviously.
Right.
But after I recorded the episodes where I found out she was my sister and I tried to kill my mom, then he let me watch ahead.
Okay.
Then he let me watch ahead for the rest of this.
He was like,
of the
okay,
show.
spoilers are over.
Yeah. After that point, he was like, here's your new character. I was like, what? So yeah. So I
Cool.
appreciate that. And when I'm directing, I don't tell my actors anything more than their character knows
Okay.
at any given moment.
Okay.
Unless it's like someone who like they're like, no, I really need to know everything, and I know it's gonna bug them.
Mm-hmm.
But if they just are curious, they're like, oh, I'm dying to know. I'm like, no. I'm dying to know. I won't tell you. But,
Okay.
So I appreciate that. I'm kind of the same way.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that was a great answer.
Yeah.
From what was your favorite quote?
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
what are
right?
the things? Yeah.
That's awesome.
The next question comes from
A lot of people. Looks
yeah,
like,
a bunch of people asking this. The Champ YT2000, Kamui Junketsu 04, and Remchunk 1. What is your best moment for playing a Satsuki?
Oh, my favorite moment is I get like emotional every time I
It's okay. I'm known as the
It's on the
commentator who
ship.
cries when I commentate,
It's
so it's
true.
okay.
It's true.
It's okay.
it's the moment on the ship where she apologizes. And when she has that like big like kind of the reconciliation with Ryuko, and she was like, and she like bows, and it's just so beautiful.
I can see it. I can
know,
see it
like,
in your
I was
eyes
just
right
like,
now. You know,
because she was doing. It's one of those things where like she did all the things that she thought were the right things to do at the time.
Right.
But like now that it's all played out, and she's really seeing like who this person is as a person, she maybe didn't have to be such a dick. You know what I mean? And also like the reason she was doing the things was because she thought she lost that sister.
Right.
And then it turns out she was mistreating the sister she thought she lost, and then finds out it really is that sister. And then like because she mistreated her, it gave her the opening for the mom to get like, you know what I mean? It caused more trouble down the
So
line.
clearly at the beginning of the show, I should have said spoiler warning.
It's been out for like a while.
I'm in agreement with you, where I share the exact same emotional sentiments.
We can all talk about Avengers Endgame now. Okay? Alright, you know?
But there is this
Yes.
like interesting thing about like how long does it take for anything to be a
Yes.
spoiler. I mean, but this aired twice on Toonami, so
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we're saying is you have no excuse. Go out and watch
Exactly.
it. Yeah.
Exactly.
it's not going to ruin it, I promise.
It's still good. Trust me.
But
That
yes,
is a great moment.
That was my favorite moment. That was really my favorite moment to play. I was really looking forward to it. And
Awesome.
yeah, and I was like, I knew it was coming. And I was like, don't cry. In the booth, I was like,
Right.
because she's not supposed to be like bawling during
Right,
that
right,
moment.
right.
You know? But I was like, I'm fine. Don't look at me. I'm fine.
Give me
You
a
look
minute.
at me, I'll cry. Don't look at me. So that's my favorite. That was my favorite moment.
All right, I guess bouncing off that, from @SoulSonicX, how exciting was it to voice Satsuki again for the
Oh my
game?
God, I was so excited. I mean, to
Because
yes.
like we just said, it's been like 5 years
Yes,
since the show
it's been
came
a really
out.
long time, and like it's like there are some shows that are just really special. Like obviously, every role you play, you have to give a part of yourself, and it means something, and they all like are other like they're all awesome and amazing and wonderful in their own way. But there's every once in a while there's a show that for whatever reason like marks your life in a way that's just like so significant. And it's like every time I see the show or I think about the show, like I remember every detail of my life at that time. I remember like where I was living, how much money was in my bank account, like what, you know what I mean? Like
It's a milestone.
It was a milestone, and then like what it opened up for me as an actor at that time, this like learning this new way of working, like we sort of talked about, and not to like mix in another show, but like right on the heels of doing this show, I also played Mami Tomoe in Madoka Magica, which also was like just like a completely new thing, and ever since then I've been playing these characters. Like I play a ton of like mentors and like that, like all this stuff. So it feels like it was a real like pivot point in my career and in the characters that I played, and it was just like such a special And like, of course, like then it's like I don't do a lot of conventions, but I did. Someone literally just emailed me was like, we want you in Miami for this weekend, this month. Like they just were like, come, and I was like, all right.
Sure.
I mean, just like laid it all out for me.
If you did all the work.
Done. Sure, put me on a plane, and they didn't like ask me about the plane at all. They just literally put me on a plane. I didn't know that when I said put me on a plane, they would just put me on a plane. But they booked my ticket and whatever, and didn't ask any questions. And I was like, because I guess they flew us all out together or something. Mm-hmm. And it turned like, as fate would have it, I ended up on that plane that day and ended up sitting next to like the love of my life.
Oh.
And like we met sitting on that plane.
As like a direct result of like
oh my God. We've since broken up, but like I mean like I was like, oh my God, like
you
it
just
ended
ruined
up
that story.
I was like, we break up 3 years later. But like it was a very important relationship. Like it was just that there's a lot around this show and this character and like everything.
It's more than just the character.
Yeah, it was more than just the character. So to come back to like revisit that was amazing, and I was like, oh my God, do I remember? And I was watching the clips, I was like, oh yes, that's right, that's my girl, And
we were just talking about it before the show too, that you sometimes go back and watch for our FGC viewers out there, that old like the old Valle Daigo match that you
like it was like at Southern California Regionals, and I remember when me and my commentary partner Ultra David, after we commentated, we were like, both of us were like, God, we did such a good job, it was so great. And now when I go back and watch it, I'm like, man, this is not good.
Well, I didn't feel that way.
No, but I mean, for you, it must have just been like it was like, going through a closet finding your old favorite jacket,
really.
or like
it
finding
was a
old
homecoming.
photos,
Because
kind of
I only knew Patrick Seitz before this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew him, but like I didn't know Erica Mendez, I didn't know Christine Marie Cavano. These people are like really good friends of mine now, like really close. They're like all, this whole cast like is how I met all these people.
Right.
And so like they're all really special to me, and to have them now like they literally did not exist in my life as humans until after that, and I'm like, so it's just like I'm so grateful, and I love like the director I worked with, and Alice Von David, he's amazing, and Hiroe, my producer, was one of the first projects I worked with her, and she's awesome. I love her so much, and so it was like my whole life changed around the show.
Cool.
So then to come back, they like it was crazy because they sent on an email with the avails like in like November or something. I'm like, no, my God, you get it! So I was super excited. But then like I didn't hear anything, and so like then in just so like mid-December, I sent that email that was just like it was like, hey guys, just looping back.
Seeing if this is still on.
Just wanted to see like because that's some other like just like the timeline where just run the project, blah blah blah. But inside I was like, oh my God,
what is this happening? What is this happening?
Exactly. So yeah. So then we did it at the beginning of the year, and I was like,
I mean, how long did it take to record all the lines for the game?
I mean, I think I ended up logging about 15 hours.
Oh, okay.
16 hours. There's a lot of Satsuki.
There's a lot of dialogue in general. Speaking as someone who's gone through and done the ESRB submissions for that, and we'll get this out of the way. There's a lot of swearing in the game.
There is. I was surprised.
There's a lot of swearing.
Out loud. Okay.
Yes, it is rated M.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of foul language where I had to go through and look for for ESRB submissions, what foul, what profanity
Context
is there, and there's a lot of lines of dialogue.
So
it was several days of going through many spreadsheets.
Yeah.
I mean, do you almost kind of sometimes feel like it was more like longer, or
without giving, hard to answer that question.
Okay.
Talking about the game.
Okay, all right.
So
fair enough.
But it did feel like just putting just putting back on that super comfy jacket and being like, yeah, let's ride. Let's do this.
That's cool.
So yeah.
Cool, awesome. It's like a cool band getting back together. It's like you're doing a reunion.
Yeah, and then running into people in or out of the session, they're like, oh my God, hi.
That's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So.
we have a couple more.
Yeah.
Let's go to from @AfroCatastrophe. It's got a long question. What's the most significant impression you've experienced going from VO work to directing?
Oh.
And in that same vein, do you feel that your experiences have improved your efforts and enjoyment in each respective role? Thanks for taking the time to answer questions.
Oh, thank you for this question. I love this question.
Actually, I was just, this is something that I kind of want to ask. When you were doing Kill la Kill 5 years ago, like, were you already a director?
No, I started directing about just over 2 years ago.
Okay.
And in that 2 years, I've done 10 projects.
Wow, okay.
One of them was 98 episodes. That was my first. My first one was Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny, which is coming out soon, I'm told. And that was LA, New York, and Dallas were my cast, and I was engineering my own sessions in LA as well. And that was just a beast. And because they go from one place to another every episode, and then you have to, like, it's Gundam, so you're killing everyone off constantly. So I feel like I killed off every, like, male voiceover actor I knew in 9 months, you know? So it's been, so it just, as soon as I started directing, it just sort of, like, you know, took off, and I really took to it well, and the clients really liked my take on things, and so the jobs kept coming, so let them keep coming. It's nice because it's easy to go. It is a little bit easier to go back and forth with voiceover work and directing, and because they're both done by time. So I can be like, oh, I can go record Miraculous Ladybug from 9 to 11, and then direct from like noon to 6.
Okay,
You know what I mean? So it's easier to like negotiate than on-camera stuff. I have to any of that stuff. I have to be able to submit a self-tape. Because I can't go there for some undetermined amount of time and wait in the waiting room. You know what I mean? It doesn't work out for my deadlines. But it has been really great. I think the most significant thing that I feel is that, like, whenever I'm in the booth now, I feel like I am on vacation. You know what I mean?
You're doing the fun part.
I'm like chilling. I'm like, oh, you need a rewrite? Yeah, let me know what you decide. I'm here whenever you're ready. Whenever you need me, I'm here. And I come in, I'll be like, I don't need to know anything. You tell me what's happening in this episode with my character, because I didn't have to watch the whole thing down and like keep track of all the timelines and all the whatever, you know? Because for Gundam, it was intense because it was like I would have to keep track of like 14 episodes on 2 coasts that couldn't hear each other.
Right.
You know, and then for Neon Genesis, I feel like people were within 5 episodes of each other usually. So it was, but there's a lot to track in that show just as a show. So yeah, when I'm recording now, it's like vacation. I'm happy. I also feel like my sync is way better, and I noticed that I've gotten a lot faster in my recordings because they'll book me. They'll be like, oh, we'll hold Tuesday and Thursday, and then I get it all done on Tuesday. They're like, oh, we don't need Thursday. I was like, peace out, have fun. Which on one side you're like, oh no, I'm working less, and I'm like, well, actually I'm working more. I'm just able to like jam more things into my schedule so I can get everything done faster. But I will say that as a director, I think that you know, it's been a really interesting process to like learn. Sometimes life puts you in situations and you learn things about yourself that you never would have learned if you didn't put yourself in that situation. Yes. You couldn't have created that for yourself, right? Like put yourself in front of people, in front of like, I got this time, and you're you're like, okay, what do I have to, how do I show up for myself? And so I thought a lot about like leadership, what my values for leadership are, and I think that one of my biggest strengths as a director is the fact that I know what's happening in the booth. I know what they're doing. I know what they're going through. I've been there. And I work with a lot of new people, especially on the live action stuff I direct. Like new people as in actors that are new to dubbing specifically, right? And I'm super open to working with new talent. I'm the right person for the job, you know? But I think that I'm good at working with new talent because I can communicate to them something they're not even aware of, that they're struggling with. I'll be like, oh hey, P.S., how about this or whatever, and they're like, oh, and like I can talk to them in ways that make sense to them because I know what it's like. I know how to play your instrument. I know what it is to do behavior. I know what it is if you're sitting there on those headphones and the first thing you hear every single time is like, no, could you, and like, just hearing the word no as the first thing every time that talkback comes live for 3 hours,
you're just like,
it's like, it doesn't matter how much, like, resilience you have as a human being,
it starts
you're
to
like,
get to you,
oh my god, it's
and
like,
that is when you kick the door open with your box of pens.
you know, and you're like, listen, stop saying no, you know, just tell me what you want.
A voice
Don't
director
say
was
that,
stabbed
you
by
know?
a pen in
Or like line readings, like sometimes line readings, and for some people they can be effective, but like I'm not a music person, so like I don't do off of like tones, and I don't like giving them either because I feel like people just then mimic me, and even dudes will like their voice will pitch up on their next take. Even if I'm like, this isn't a line reading, but like I can see you're approaching it from this point of view, but it's more like it's like well whatever, they think it's a good idea, and then they'll say like, well, they think it's a good idea, but like their voice will be like an octave higher. I was like, no, I wasn't giving you. I was like, cool, that was an excellent mimic of me. Now, if you could just do that from your character, that'd be awesome. You know what I mean? So, and I try to like, and so it's a big thing for me, for my actors to feel, supported in there. And I think that leadership means that it doesn't mean I get to be at the front of the room and make all the decisions for the room and talk the loudest in the room, though I get to do all those things. It means that I take responsibility for the room. And if I take responsibility for the room, then like everyone feels like my engineer feels supported, they feel supported, we're all working on the same, we're all on the same focus, we're all like, the whole room is pointing back to the center, we're all focused on the piece, and so that's the thing that I think that's like a big value of mine. And from what I hear, actors like being in my booth. So
I was about to say, it sounds like everybody would love you as a director because you can empathize with them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I also really quickly started to be like, it's not that I have an idea in my mind of how I think that character should say this line. For me, art works because we understand behavior, right? So if it means something to you, then when you do the line, it'll sound like it means something to the person hearing it, right? And that's ultimately what you're going for, is that it has meaning for the person who's receiving the art, right? And so if I have no, this is how it's supposed to go, then I'm not letting that actor bring meaning and their imagination and filling that and they're taking their craft. So if they say something and I get surprised all the time by their line reads, but I'm like, it's valid, it's true, it's right, it's correct. I'm good.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You don't have to say it the way I would. You don't want a bunch of characters all sounding like me in a speech. That's terrible. You know what I mean?
New DLC. Every character is
Every character is me. My take on it.
Mako comes out and starts shouting about filthy pigs.
Right. Yeah. It all gets confused. So I think that's also a big part of directing is letting them go, letting them have their. And then some actors are like, oh, but I just want to give you what you want.
Right.
And I was like, no. I signed the papers. I made the down payment. I bought the house. I just need you to move into the house. You move into it. I'm not out here being like, say it the way I think it should.
But at the same time, and also you probably can help certain people if they want advice.
100%.
I was gonna say,
if they get stuck, if someone gets stuck, I've done it too. I'm like, oh my god, I'm stuck on a thing. Please help, save me, Wendy, please save me.
Especially since you said you work with so much new talent too. I'm sure that that guidance is really helpful for people who are new. As well.
I hope so. I mean, I get good performances out of it. They feel they definitely. You can see them. You can feel them getting more and more comfortable and stuff. Because what you want is their acting. You want them as an actor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then there's a lot of tech stuff. I mean, dubbing is the hardest voice work there is. Because you have to have the experience in the right time and the thing with you know what I mean. There's a lot of parameters in which you have to fulfill in addition to doing your art. And so it's challenging. There's technical aspects to it. And so I just try to let them settle in. But most of them, this second session, they come back, they're like, wow, after I had such a headache and I didn't know, but this is way easier now. It just takes your brain, 45 minutes to an hour to just start to settle in. And you just most of the time I'm just giving them permission to be like, it's okay, it's fine. This is normal, it is natural, it will not always feel like this. Right. It's gonna be okay. You don't have 2 weeks of this feeling, I promise. It's not gonna be this bad tomorrow. So there is a lot of cheerleading as well.
Cool.
Yes.
It sounds like you got a lot of insight, so that was a great answer.
Yeah, thank you for asking.
Yeah, it was a very long question, but very cool. All right, we have a couple more left, and so let's see. One from Vocal Rose. What did you have to do to really get into character before recording?
Well, this is an easy one because I kind of touched on it in some other ones about the pen and take my blood, June Ketz, the eternal vow between you and I. Was
Your height. That
was the like
the tone setting. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
One other one from at Amoxton. I hope I pronounced that right. Hi. First off, loved your work as our glorious student council president.
As well, you should.
A very Satsuki answer. When you were approached to do Satsuki, what was your reaction? And by then, have you ever heard of Kill la Kill? Was the pacing of the show something harder to get used to?
Oh, so this is a little bit related to something I said earlier. I didn't know anything about it. Because also a lot of times when you first get an audition, like they don't say what it's for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you don't really know like what it is, you know. And so I wasn't that familiar, and it was and we were recording it really close to it coming out. So it's not like an anime that had been out for a long time that I was aware of. And then specifically, and when I got approached to do her, I was like, what? But I think we talked a little bit about that. I thought I was gonna get fired. And then he specifically said, like, do not watch any of it. So that was that pacing of the show, something. You know, it's no, I'm a very like fast paced. I mean, I think you probably have your answer, having seen me talk for the last 20 minutes. Pacing is not a problem for me. But I will say that I really did enjoy. And sometimes that you got very distracted by like some of the fun things they were doing with the animation. That like Satsuki and Yui would be like fighting, and then she like then it'd be like a close up, and then be a close up, and then she'd reach through her close up and touch her. You know what I mean? Things like that, you know. But I will say that because of the way it lives inside of me in my memory. Whenever I see the very beginning, I always forget that's how it starts. I'm like, oh, that's right. The teacher with the fascist and the kid, and then he's like hung outside, and then the tennis one with like all the like fan service.
Because you know where it goes.
Because you know where it goes.
So it's like so much smaller, even though it's like.
Oh my gosh.
It's smaller in scale compared to the end of the show. It's still that's such a weirdest thing to say, right?
Yeah. And like people would watch it, I'd be like, get to episode 4. Get to episode 4 because like don't be tricked. Because I would always forget.
Right.
Yeah. Because I remember obviously like all the.
It's hard to go back after where it goes. Yeah, it's hard to go back in time.
Does that whole time just feel like a blur, kind of, at this point?
No, like I said, I remember every moment recording that time in my life was like very significant. Very significant for me, for this show, this particular show. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next slide and see if we have any other questions.
We got one from Salaz. Over here.
Okay, I'm speeding.
My question is pretty straightforward. Did you see any clips of the show when you auditioned for the role? Obviously, we talked about that, you know.
Yes.
And if you're shown these clips, blah, 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 thank you very much. Okay, so.
We already answered most of it, which is why I was going to go.
Well, they did say, how did you feel about the revealing nature?
Yes, that is the new part.
Yes, that's the new part of this one. So you were like, I read it, guys. I was moving on.
Sorry.
You're right. No, you're right. It was very rude of me to go.
No, I just wanted to make sure we mentioned Salaz's name on so he asked the question.
Of course.
I got you, Salaz. I got you.
I get asked about that, the whole like revealing. I think that it's awesome. Okay, there's obviously like this whole thing about like fan service, specifically in like anime, but like obviously like you see it in like comic books and stuff, like how the female body gets depicted, and like the scandal, like the lesser, more scandalous ways it gets depicted and whatnot. But I sort of loved that they like brought it up and they sort of like dealt with it. You know what I mean? Like on Ryuko's side, she was like, "What the hell?" You know what I mean? Which is like how most women feel about you're like, you would never fight in that, but anyway. I loved that it did both sides. But then Satsuki's like, I don't care what I look like.
Right.
Like I would wear whatever. That's not important. What's important is my purpose and my ambition and my reason and why I'm here and what I'm doing. And if you're gonna like get caught up on how I'm dressed while I do that, that's your weakness and that's your problem. And I'm gonna exploit it to my advantage.
Right.
You know. And I did sort of like that there is this. I love this idea that like look however you want to look, dress however you want to dress. You know. And then, of course, at least they somewhat justified it with the like, well, you don't want to be. The more coverage they have, the more control they can have over you. So there is so I do love that in the end they kind of did tie it to this idea of like personal will, which at least gave these women like more active agency to like be dressed more revealing than one might in a regular fighting situation. And I'm wearing thongs. Whatever.
It's what it is.
So that's sort of my that's my foolish version of that answer.
Gotcha.
You know.
All right, we have two more. One from.
I also get it. People like boobs.
Yeah. That's a straightforward answer.
I mean, if people like boobs, we're not getting around that. I mean, they're nice.
All right, we have one from @GodXWeeb. What are your thoughts on the new story versus the anime, since Satsuki is the main focus in Kill la Kill F?
I don't know if I can comment on this.
Okay,
it's another
too much revealing stuff.
Yeah, great question. I super will answer it after the game launches.
All right, that's a
play it for
you. We have a date with that question on the 27th of July.
Yeah. Perfect. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
Buy the game, play it,
You'll probably
Maybe on the 27th, I'll give people a chance to play it. Like 5 days later.
You get 24 hours.
Okay, like August 3rd. August 3rd, I'll start talking. Yeah.
And in particular, buy the special edition.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Because the artwork is going to be.
Oh my god.
Also important. Absolutely.
It's going to be important. If it's anything like the game.
All right. One last question from Hamiltron, which is another great name. Carrie, man, what a performance at Satsuki. They picked the right woman for the job. Now my question, are you that scary in real life? To elaborate more, what traits do you think you share with Satsuki? I like to think that an actor has deeper connections to their character.
I would say that if you ask 10 people if I was scary in real life, I think 8 would say yes. Not because I try to be scary in real life, but I do find that people, like later on when I'm friends with someone, I hear that they were like intimidated by me at the beginning or something. Because I'm just like I'm incredibly straightforward. I think that's also a trait I share with her. I'm incredibly straightforward. Ask me a direct question, you get a direct answer. Right. Like I try to, I think that you have a responsibility to be honest and like respectful at the same time, obviously. Like I don't like people who are like, it's just hard truths or whatever. Like you can speak truths and not be a dick at the same time. Right. But yeah, I actually don't really know why people find me as intimidating.
Do you think it might be from like your directorial position? Like you're just...
Well, I think specifically as a director, that's the place that like people I don't think would say I'm scary.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
Because I make a real effort to like be in a state of grace and make them feel like comfortable and safe and you know what I mean? That's my responsibility. I feel that's my responsibility.
When you're friends with somebody,
yes, but like if someone like if people in my theater company, they'll be like, oh my god, when I first met, I directed a play at my theater company this past fall, and I had to like go up to some people like, are you auditioning for me? Well, actually, I probably was like, are you reading for me or what? How it came out, pushed for me and was like, are you auditioning? What's going on? I don't see you on my list. Are you busy? What's up? And they're like, oh,
I'm intimidated now, actually.
Yeah, just do a bit.
So, but I was like, what? Come on, show up. That's what you know.
Yeah.
So I think people do that. I have a lot of stories of people thinking I'm scary, and I will say that like, I'm definitely a person who like I will not pull out my sword unless you decide that's what you need.
Gotcha.
But if you decide that you need me to pull out my sword and that's the way this has to go, like I'll destroy you.
You do the Junken's transformation.
All
bets are off.
I'm gonna play nice unless like you decide you need that from me. I will say that as I've evolved, like as life has gone on, fewer people come to me for that.
Okay.
But there were definitely a lot of people who like needed that from me, and I was like, okay. I gave you a lot of warnings about this boundary, and you just needed.
You can't go back now. Here we go.
And so here's what happens when that happens. You know.
So we have a mutual friend. I'm gonna ask her if she's intimidated by you.
I don't think so. Yeah, I feel like I can't imagine her being intimidated.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine her being intimidated.
But I also feel like some of that has to do with like it's like a two-way thing. I think the people who find me scary, are like part of it is like a perception they have of me or something. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
They've watched a lot of Kill la Kill.
They watched Kill la Kill,
exactly. Weirdly sometimes it's like if it's someone who doesn't know me but has like a lot of respect for me for whatever reason, and then like when they're like nervous and with my personality being like, what? Like you know what I mean? So this, you know, I feel like there's like it ends up being like a and I'm like, that'll work itself out. Like 3 months
Give
from
it some
now,
time.
you're not
It'll be
gonna.
fine.
We had
Yeah.
a game night at my friend's house, a big game. We were playing some like Secret Hitler or like one of those kinds
Yeah.
of, or like one of those kinds of games or whatever. And there were people at the table being like, I don't know, you scare me. Like, there were people like crying at the table, and I was like, whoa, I'm not even doing it. We're playing a game, but I could see like a lot of people's emotions coming out in that game, like. Well, I just don't know if you're telling the truth. I mean, I don't know why you're always like, so short with me. And I'm like, this feels like we're outside the realm of the game. I feel like you have some issues you would like to discuss with me. So then I have to like do the like approach and be like, hey, how's it
This then freaks you out even
going?
more.
You know what I mean? And then like whether or not they're ready to receive that,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like a whole. I mean, it happens more with women than men. I think men get over it. But then like like a lot of my guy friends will be like, yeah. At first, I didn't know like if you hated me, or you like just give me a hard time, or like what. And I was like, oh, my sort of rule is that if I don't like you, I probably won't talk to you. So, or like I just don't have. I have probably other people I'm talking to. Not that I like. If I don't like you, I won't talk to you. But like if I'm like. I don't like that person. I'm probably not gonna like go on. I'm just gonna like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm no harm, no foul. You live your life, I'll live my life. No problem, no problem. So if I'm like giving you a hard time, I probably like you.
Right, exactly.
I can see how that's confusing.
You know, you hurt the ones you love.
I
That's
see
the way it
how
always
that's
works.
confusing.
That's the
I
way
was
it
at a
works,
Christmas
so.
party and one of my friends was like, "Oh, I see, Carrie. You just behave towards every man like he's your husband." Yes, I think yes, that is correct. I just
That's certainly a way to put it.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't think I'm scary.
Okay. I have not found you scary at all this entire time, so I also
Speak
don't
for
know.
yourself. Okay?
Yeah, you're the one getting yelled at. I'm on the
already
nice side of the
terrified
table.
over here.
Yeah.
I haven't done anything.
I'm kidding.
All right, I think we have one more from Vagabond of Kanto. I know this isn't exactly a KLK related question, but if Netflix got the rights to make a Berserk adaptation with the group behind the Castlevania anime, would you have any interest in reprising the role of Casca or playing a part in the adaptation in general?
Yes, 100%, of course. Casca was my very first role. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
she was
a
my
very
That's
very
crazy
first
to
role.
me because
Wow.
I never would have guessed that from
Yeah,
watching
and
it.
so to like revisit her after all the years was like also it was like a very similar experience, you know, except for it literally was like more like, oh my god, we were such babies back then. You know what I mean? Like wow, and like now like you know Guts and Griffith both have children of their own in real life, and you know it's just like yeah. So that's something very near and dear to my heart, and if it was the right fit, you know, it would really depend. I think it would really. I'd still do it.
You want to do it.
It's like a thing. You feel like at some point you might like evolve, like you as a human being might be like past a character's core elements that like you really should pass it on.
Right.
Like let's face it, I'm not gonna play Lux when I'm 60. You know what I mean? Like at some point you're going to like culture is evolving,
Right.
and you know what I mean. Sometimes you have to get someone who more accurately represents what the current cultural mindset is. You know what I mean? So there are people that I think you would naturally, that I assume you would naturally like you as a human being would age out of their core concepts.
Because I know that this is a common thing that happens in voice acting. You know, you put your heart and soul into a character, you know, and then somebody else eventually voices them. I mean, has that happened with you?
Well, it happened with Costa.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
And like, does it feel weird to see when someone else does their interpretation of the character? Or?
To be honest, I don't see it. So I can't exactly speak to
Oops,
that.
sorry.
I can't exactly
That's
speak to
good.
that.
We'll
That's
strike
good.
that.
But I will say,
Edit that
what's interesting to me is I've actually weirdly been on the other side of that I have directed twice I have directed a show that was an older show that had a previous cast.
Right.
So I've been on the other side of that experience twice, but I don't have other characters in mind. So far I've come back for all the ones that you know that super matter to me. But I also at this point I mean I don't really audition for like super young characters anymore myself. Like I just like even if I get those sides I'm like there's probably someone who has something to speak to that is more than me. I mean, because even when I was younger, I was always playing like I played Casca when I was probably close to Casca's age, but when I was younger, I never played ingenues. I never played Sailor Moons.
Right.
You know what I mean? I never played those characters.
Uh-huh.
The youngest characters I've ever played are the twins in Persona 5, and they are adorable little jerks. You know what I mean?
So
They're not
they
like
don't act like
kids.
kids. Yeah.
I don't play people who have an adolescence. I play people who the adolescents I play are the ones who are like old for their age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I just even
Like Satsuki.
like Satsuki, she's old for her age.
Right.
Like I never played Makos. I never.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just not something I was 16 going on 32, like as a young child myself. You know what I mean? So like I just don't relate to like a lot of adolescent stuff.
Right.
So I don't know. So I feel like even if your voice sort of stays the same, at some point like just like what you
as
have
a person,
to say,
you're different from where you were when you recorded it.
Yeah. So,
that makes sense.
I don't know.
That's still wild to me that it was your first role too, because I must have
Yeah.
watched those like the old like OVA like blooper outtakes from like the original dub. Those are still on YouTube.
To be fair, that was all one session. Like I had one really bad session, and so many of those bloopers came from one session.
Really?
You're like, we're gonna milk this and make it seem like
I
you're
know,
doing
well,
this the whole time.
I was like, Mom, you're not gonna like I was in a mood that day, and Michael Cinder Nicholas thought it was just the funniest thing ever.
Because it is the funniest thing
It
ever.
is kind
and
of,
it's just
I know.
preserved forever now.
I know.
that's a
I
worst part.
had one grumpy day in the studio.
And now it's a
time.
DVD
Yeah,
extra.
Yes.
All right, we have one more
We
question.
got a new question.
We got a new question from I assume from someone in chat.
Oh.
Max Oblivion, are there any other games you'd like to see Satsuki be a guest character in?
Oh my god.
She's not in
I
And
mean,
Bayonetta can get in, Satsuki can get in. Their
I
clothing is similar.
right? I also feel like she should be in Mario Kart. She should have.
She has a Dream Catch car?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
like you know what I mean? I
If
feel
Ryuko
like
could be a plane, then Satsuki can be a car.
her eyebrows like floating in the.
You know, Luigi has the
But I
death
think-
stare, right?
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
Satsuki do, right? You know?
No, she would ruin that world. You shouldn't do that. But I feel like she should be in Smash. Like messing something around. Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
Let's get
Are
that.
Carolyn and Justine in the Smash update?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's many
Yeah.
yeses.
Right. But like,
You're like, what can I say?
know-
What can I say?
Yeah,
What
right.
can
I'm
I-
also like, there's also because I'm terrible at video games. A lot of times I have to, if I get a copy, I give them to a friend of mine, and then he plays them, and then he captures it and then he sends it to me so I can see what happens in the video game.
Okay, cool.
So I know that they're on there, but I don't know how they function yet.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I haven't actually seen any gameplay,
Okay.
so I don't know what it looks like.
So then it'd be like a secret, like unlockable thing.
Well,
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So but I just knew that it happened.
Okay.
But like I haven't
You're
actually
like,
seen any gameplay.
I recorded
yet.
those lines.
So
Whatever happened after that is out of my hands.
I don't know. Because they weren't huge fighters, really. Because even in the regular game, like people
They have the
in
one
an
thing.
arena to
Yeah.
fight,
Yeah.
to train, to get better. Because then he gets
Right.
So there was you know what I mean. It was more of a story point for the
Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't
Okay.
actually seen them in any gameplay yet. So I
But
don't
you know they exist somehow.
Yes, they exist
Okay.
somehow. So I was
I
like-
also have not seen them, so
Yeah.
now I'm gonna go home and find a copy of
so I
Smash
don't
and
know.
try to find them.
Yeah. So
Alright.
I'm like, who knows where they are?
Awesome. We're gonna take a quick break while we get the gameplay set up, so we
Right.
get a chance to
The
try out the
PS4
game.
actually shut itself off, so
Yes, so I'll have to go reboot that.
Yeah,
I'll
talking.
be back in just a couple of minutes, and you guys get to see some new gameplay featuring the English dub, and it'll be your first time trying out the game.
Yeah!
So we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, welcome back, guys. And so we're going to be showing off one of the new gameplay modes that I don't think we've shown any gameplay off, which is Covers Challenge. It's sort of the horde mode of the game where you get to fight a giant horde of enemies. So go ahead and hit circle for me.
Circle!
That guy there. That's going to take you back to the main menu.
Okay.
There you are.
Yay!
Head over to Practice with the directional buttons on the right, on the left, and then hit X. And then you're going to go to Covers Challenge, which is that guy
There
right
we
there.
go. Okay.
Yep. Hit X.
Alright.
I
Oh my gosh, it's good! I love him so much!
Okay, perfect.
100 unit extermination?
Yes, go
You
ahead
got
and click on
this.
that.
It's easy.
Oh.
You only have to destroy 100 covers.
Only 100.
Only 100.
Only 100.
So
Okay,
there,
okay,
of
Of course,
go ahead and play
yeah,
Satsuki.
of course.
Obviously.
Can they see our faces? Do they know that I'm actually playing?
No,
just
there's-
kidding.
That's cheating. Okay, so your controls
Yeah,
are
right? Get in there.
your controls are pretty straightforward. This left stick is how you're gonna move around. Oh, and if you wanted to hear your own voice, you can go back to the headphones on.
Yes.
Come at
So-
me, damn dish rag. Love it.
Your left stick moves you around, and square is your attack button. So hitting that over and over and over and over is gonna make your character do combos. So just walk
Okay.
towards them and then start mashing that button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There we
Yes.
go.
And then the more you mash it, you'll keep doing combos. And then holding a direction on that thumbstick will make you do different combos.
Holding a direction on the thumbstick?
Yes.
Wait,
so
I don't know what that means.
you're doing it perfect, just like that.
Just keep doing what you're doing right
What is
now.
happening right now? Turn.
There you go.
Come here, you jerks. Not on my planet.
So the goal of this mode is to destroy all 100 covers as fast as possible. You have the timer there in the bottom right.
Killed 6 of them. 8! You're up to 8
Oh
now.
my gosh. Only 8? My thumb's already tired. What's happening?
There's another super button here, so if you hold down this button, try hitting one of the face buttons.
Oh, look at
There
this.
you go.
Yo.
So you can spend some meter to do a really fancy super. You are nothing with me.
Nice.
And each button will do a different super animation as well.
So I can hold this down and hit a different
Yeah,
button.
hit a different button. There you go.
Oh! I'm upside down! Yes! Yes! Yes!
So you have a couple other buttons too if you get tired of mashing square. You can hit triangle, which is the top button there, and she'll throw out projectiles as well.
Oh,
so she can
okay.
attack from sort of a distance.
Long range, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, don't you dare kick me. Alright, so square is the close, and then, oh my god,
Yes.
look at that.
And triangle is sort of
Okay,
far
sorry.
away.
And it's fine.
You're so fascinated to watch it.
I know, but I was like, oh god, pay attention, I gotta pay attention.
Oh, no, no. Oh, dang.
Did I just blow them up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you blew up a bunch of
What
them.
are those? What are those?
Oh, go ahead and pick those up.
What?
There you
yeah.
go. So you have that little meter there on the left, so you're buffing your character when you pick those up as well.
Oh, I see the little stats over there on the left side there.
Yes. Yeah. Joe.
I want you to read the lines while you're playing.
You get it in stereo.
Yeah.
You have another attack button as well, which is circle. And that is more for the player versus player mode. It's an unblockable attack. So it hits all around her.
Oh, dang.
It does lots and lots of damage.
Oh, so if I get right up in there.
Yeah, it'll
and
hit
then
all
I
around
hit
her.
this. Come here, guys. Come here. Circle up, guys.
See? You got the strategy
There you go,
here.
there you go. Oh yeah.
Just going
Knock me
here.
down. I'll
Ah,
knock you
look at that.
That's right.
You've got the
You
strategy
thought,
here.
you thought you had it.
You can pick up like Mako's like brass knuckles too around the stage.
Where?
There was one. Yeah, you just picked it up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
up right
What do I
there.
do with those now? Face. You don't
So
have a face.
once
You're
once
covered.
you collect all of it, it looks like it's just a passive like button. Nice.
Dang, look at this. You killed 75. You're 3/4 of the way through already.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
what I mean.
You're setting a new record on our console.
Well, yeah, 'cause I'm the first one to play it.
That still counts. You
No,
can also
no.
Done yet.
your life's getting low though.
Power button.
Oh jeez.
Oh wait, what was this one? Circle up, guys. Circle
Yes,
up. Circle up. 0.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay, okay.
Oh my god, I'm holding my breath. Oh, there's a huge one in the
Oh,
back.
there's a buff guy
But
back
yeah, what's
there.
up with that dude? What? He's like 7. He's like extra cover. It's like if the Dwayne The Rock Johnson was a cover. What is that?
Oh,
down,
side
get
of
down.
left. Oh no!
Oh no, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
you're
You're good.
good.
I'm
You're
good.
good. You're good. 97. You killed 97. 98.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Guys, if I
99. That's the only one left. Dwayne is the only one left.
Come on, Dwayne!
There you go.
Whoa, is that like automatically the last guy?
Yes! And so you get that cool cinematic when it's finished.
Nice.
I'll never realize my ambitions.
Oh, perfect.
A new record.
Yes.
New record!
New
That's
record.
right.
See,
Be prideful. You have the new high
That's the
score.
only record I'm gonna have in my life. I feel really good about this. I feel really good about this.
So let's go ahead and do the versus mode, so James can try it out too. So go back to main menu.
Main menu.
Yeah, that's correct. And then you're gonna go over to versus mode.
Okay, wait, what?
Oh,
Okay.
you attain some currency. from playing that mode. So you'll be able to collect currency in the game, use it to buy like new music, art, like stuff to look at.
Oh, yes.
Cool.
Alright, what am I going to do? Versus?
Circle.
Oh, circle.
And then versus.
Oh, versus.
Yep.
There, okay.
There you go. Free down. Yep, that's correct.
What are the other ones?
Those are for the online modes.
Rank match.
Mhm.
Okay. Alright.
Well, see, she's
Okay,
really
I'm
good.
just
She's
like-
good at
Oh,
this
I know,
already.
yeah.
So like, what am I supposed to do?
So what do I do?
James,
Alright,
go
so
ahead
I'm
and
gonna.
go say versus player. So go to the right.
Oh,
There you go.
Oh,
Yep.
there we go.
and then I.
Say X. There you
I'm
go.
Oh,
turn.
okay.
Alright.
So, should I just go
Like,
Google
Like
then?
Oh, you know what? Hit circle. You can actually try out her dual wield form as well. So hit circle on your controller.
Oh, me. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I thought you were talking about. I was
you're
too
good.
busy watching this.
Dude, you
I
see
was
her? She had
listening to
game face.
myself.
She had
I
game
love when I
face.
just heard myself be like, "Come with Junkets," and I'm like, "No." So I apologize. I hit circle. Right.
Hit L1 on the controller, the
what?
super button. Just
Okay. Yeah.
and now you're going to be playing the dual version where you have Bakuzan split into the two blades. So hit X. And
Who
then,
should I use?
pick your favorite. Who do you usually play in other fighting games?
It's fine. I'll just
Show us.
I'll just go to the
Just
character.
go
Perfect.
straight sisters
Okay,
there.
okay.
And you'll also be able to pick a stage as well if you want. You can pick whichever stage you like.
Oh, what are the? The Red Palace. Open fields. Oh, the stadium grounds. Oh, the stadium runway. Oh. Ooh. We'll play in your field.
Okay.
I'll give you the home team advantage.
This is Rico's stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you home team. I'll get like you needed the advantage. Alright, real quick, what do these do again? Zero is it's the same stuff.
It's the same exact
Okay,
buttons,
so
yeah.
triangle was distance. This was like
close
regular,
range.
close range, and this was the unblockable. What
Yeah.
is this? Did I use this?
That's the jump. You can use that in your character builder.
Okay, well, you're a foolish person, but something.
Now, James, you have to do Satsuki. Or Rico's
Oh, you want me to
Leave it to me.
leave it to me? I'm good. Oh, get off your high horse.
Beautiful.
I can't keep doing this.
No,
This is
it's
embarrassing
gonna
right
ruin your voice.
First, Ryuko, Mato.
Oh, man,
Get
okay,
ready.
It's
Let
rude
the
to be
battle
Asian.
begin.
I'm using a lady here too. Is it blocking in this game or no?
Yes, it's the older shoulder buttons.
Oh, because I'm getting beat up here right now.
Absolutely.
It's not cool so far. Okay, what
If you see your high score, you're done.
I know, right? My high score is so good.
So Ryuko just got a Dragon Punch.
Oh, dang, that was that sparkly explosion thing. I tried to do it too.
When you have half of your meter, which is your life bar, you can hit both shoulder buttons. And then that's going to trigger Bloody Valor, which is a big spectacle. It works like a gold where if you land it, you're nice.
I'm getting the hang of this here. Now you're in trouble.
Oh,
Oh no, what the heck?
holy moly, what happened here? Is that you?
No, no, you're doing
I'll keep
that.
hitting
I
buttons.
me?
Yes.
That's not fair. You're not giving me it. There we go. Now I can shoot things back at you. Yeah. There we go. I'm good.
Oh, she got a super dash.
Oh, I just
Ah.
charged you. I don't even know how
There's
to
a
do that.
Dragon Ball super dash by hitting jump in the air.
Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm
I
right
can
there.
just hear me and Erica just yelling at each other.
Oh my god! Oh! Dude, the comeback! I had the comeback. Okay,
Ryuko
okay.
does so much damage.
Okay,
So
okay.
go forward and try hitting both those shoulder buttons.
What shoulder buttons?
Oh,
When you're close. There you go.
oh, dang.
And that's going to trigger the Bloody Valor. So what this is both characters are going to start smacking at each other. You're going to hit a button. Any button.
Okay.
And both characters are going to start smack talking. So it works like rock, paper, scissors, where each player hits a button.
Oh, dang.
And since James won the rock, paper, scissors, you do it again. And every time you win this sequence, your character gains a star on the wheel, which makes them stronger. So it's sort of like the Injustice style.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So since you tied, now you have a 2-star uniform. So on your little portrait in the top right, you have those 2.
Oh, yeah. I see. Got it.
Oh, I see that.
Yes.
Oh, so,
Are we fighting again?
Oh, yeah.
What's happening?
Now you're back
Oh,
to-
I didn't know we were back to
Okay,
fighting.
okay, okay.
You didn't even know you were fighting, you still killed him.
And I don't get my health back, so...
Yes, your health persists between
Okay,
rounds.
got it, got it. shooting at me going full screen away?
I don't know.
This feels like it's
I like this one.
it feels like it's
This matchup for fans of Guilty Gear is very similar to Soul vs. So Ryuko's an up-close brawler. She wants to get in, do most of the damage.
Oh, so that's when she's gonna do the most damage. So if I stay away from her, I'm good.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright.
Oh,
no! Did you see
sliding
that?
into the
I
fence
didn't
over
do
here.
that. Okay, sorry. I keep watching and then forgetting I have to play. Okay, cool.
And the sparkling thing, but the sparkling thing is not working out.
There you go.
I know you
that
told me to
was-
stay away. And I can't
you're doing it.
running into her.
Oh, no.
I just want to run into her. Oh, it's so gruesome. Look at that. Oh. No, get back. No. Distance.
No, I'm coming in after you. No, you can't run. Ow!
Oh, snap.
Whoa!
What was that? No,
Whoa! I don't know how I did that, but that was. Get it, do it again.
No.
Oh, no.
Here
Wait, how do I go upside down again? I want to do that one.
we go. Give us one of the shoulder buttons or something?
That's it.
My shoulder buttons don't do anything.
Hey, nice.
I don't know what happened.
You shot
Oh,
me
I
to
got
death.
you.
You shot me to death.
Yeah, see, this is
not
hard.
fair.
I'm more of a like get up in there and touch the
Oh, we should
being worn by her Kamui. This is as far as you go.
See how you got intimidated, right?
I'm not the one being scolded.
She said that, and she just turned and looked at me in my eyes, and she said that, and there was like this scowl, and I'm like terrified now.
Cool. I think we're gonna head back and
Main menu?
Yes, I think we're gonna wrap it up since
Okay,
we're a little
okay.
over time. All right, we'll be right back, guys. We're gonna switch back to the table.
Oh, alright. Yes! Oh.
I'm terrified.
Where did this go?
Welcome back, guys. Congratulations on winning. You are the Kill la Kill champion. And as the loser, you've been punished with Junkets. It's like you're in stocks. Like you're like stuck here with this big thing.
I mean, it's not really a punishment to wear June cats.
That's true.
It's really
But
true. No.
I deemed you a worthy opponent.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
I
there you go,
granted
okay,
you.
okay.
And the blood is being drained from your body.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Fair enough.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
thank you. Okay.
Cool. Well, that just about does it for our show. So I'm just going to go through a couple of quick reminders of the events that we have coming up. This weekend is CEO in Daytona, Florida. James and I will both be there. I'll be there with the Kill la Kill demo. So if you happen to be going to that event and wanted to try out some of the things you saw today, it'll be there for you guys to try it out. You'll be there doing commentary, right?
Yes, I'll be doing some commentary.
Awesome. So I guess I'll see you there in 2 days.
Yeah.
On the other side
On
of
the
the
other
country.
side of the
Each other's
country,
so
yeah.
much.
Well, you know what? I mean, maybe if we sit next to each other on the plane.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay.
That's
Then I
go.
can break up with you. In 3
Yeah,
days.
exactly.
Yeah, okay. There's our new future.
Exactly.
Our CEO is an ArcLive shop, and so it's going to be a qualifier for our esports tour. The winners of Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue Central Fiction, and Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle are all going to be getting a slot at the finals. We're also giving away some of those Arc World Tour points. So check out the stream schedule on ceogaming.org to find out when those games are going to be streamed. It's going to be definitely a really good event. CEO, one of the biggest things of the year, so you definitely don't want to miss it. And then leading right into next week, no rest, Anime Expo is next week as well. Are you doing anything at Anime Expo this year?
Yeah, I'll be there on the 4th of July for a couple of panels.
Awesome.
But, so far, that's the only thing that I'm specifically doing.
Gotcha.
But now that you guys are gonna be there,
well,
now that I'm so good at this game, I
Yeah.
feel
You know
like
what?
I'm gonna have to come by.
Come by and beat some people up at our booth because we will
yeah.
also have the demo at the
Beat
Arc System
up
Works.
And
Satsuki.
I'm definitely going to be showing up as Dreamcats as well.
Oh, perfect.
I can't
Awesome.
wait.
You're not getting this back. I'm telling you right now. Okay, I'm starting to get kind of comfortable.
You're
with
just
this
gonna be
here.
that with like white sweatpants.
Yeah.
You're just
Oh,
gonna
okay.
There you go.
Very
There you
classy.
go. Yeah.
So Arc System Works will be there. We have a booth. The booth number is 3711. And so if you guys have been to Anime Expo before, you know what we're about. We'll be selling a bunch of new merchandise that you can see on the table. We have 2 new standees, Mai and Nine the Phantom from BlazBlue. And so we have them to add to our big collection, as well as 4 new BlazBlue keychains and 6 new Guilty Gear designs as well. And so if you manage to pick some of those up, they're super, super
Are
cute.
you- Adorable.
Is the bag going to be there? The Guilty Gear?
Oh, the bag is also going to be there.
Guilty
You
Gear,
might have seen
okay,
it on
okay,
our
yeah.
Twitter feed. We have the Guilty Gear 20th Anniversary travel pouch, which is
I'm going for sure.
super
there. I'm
sick.
going for sure. I'm
We
gonna grab
we
it.
unfortunately did sell out on our online store, but we did reserve some for Anime Expo. And so if you didn't manage to get your hands on one on the online store, make sure
Save me.
I'm
I'm gonna try to use my connections here.
you gotta get there quick.
Damn.
We only have a
Okay.
set number per day, and so you want to stop by our booth first if you want one. We're only going to be selling a certain amount per day. They are very, very limited, so if you want one, make sure you get there early. And then if you don't manage to get one on the day you're there, you can always come back the next day, and we're going to restock every day with a couple more. So we'll have that new merchandise available. We also have a panel with Takeshi Yamanaka, the producer of Kill la Kill F. So he's flying in from Japan from Arc System Works to talk at the panel, as well as some staff from Studio Trigger. And so if you guys wanted to show up and learn even more about Kill la Kill If, we'll have a panel there. We're going to do a tournament at the event as well,
nice.
So you'll be able to win some cool goodies.
Oh.
You might
You should
want to
enter.
show
Good.
up.
I'm gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Totally
exactly.
gonna tournament.
You're going to win some really cool swag.
Yeah, sure.
And also some surprise announcements about Kill la Kill as well.
Oh,
And so if you definitely want to show up and come over to our panel, we're going to have some new info for you guys.
Okay.
So no spoilers, but that is coming up next week. After that is EVO 2019, which is the first weekend of August. Everybody knows EVO, it's the biggest fighting game tournament of the year, also an ArcLive stop, and so the winners of those tournaments are going to be invited to the ArcLive America Finals in November. That's taking place at UCI.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the Under Night Inbreak.
Oh man, me too.
Yeah,
It's awesome. Like I've definitely said it on the show before, but I feel like the Under Night community is one of the strongest communities. They put in so much work with like all the events that they do.
Just a little back. It literally is like the community that could. Because they're a
Yes.
small community, they kept organizing things, and now they're in EVO as one of the main games, and it's just such an
great.
awesome honor.
It's a really
Yeah.
small community,
Yeah.
and they just put in a bunch of work. So congratulations to those guys.
Oh, awesome.
Under Night in Birth EXE Latest is going to be one of the main stage games of EVO, as well as BlazBlue Cross Type
That's
Battle.
right.
And so
What's
something
that?
BlazBlue Cross Type
BlazBlue
Battle,
Cross Type
something that you are
So
very
you'll be
familiar with.
there no matter what.
Yes.
Right? So you'll be
I'll be there in spirit.
Yeah.
You can't escape me.
You are guaranteed to be in the grand finals of EVO.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
That is a fact. That's guaranteed. We'll also be doing the side tournaments for Guilty Gear Exar Bev 2 and BlazBlue Central Fiction as well.
Nice.
And so you can come by, stop by the ARC booth at EVO, and we'll be having those as well. And then, already mentioned, but ArcLive America is coming up in November. There's going to be a last chance qualifier for that event as well.
Oh.
James?
I'm
Yes.
trying to reach
Oh,
these.
how's it going? It's hard when you can't like lift your arms, right?
Here's
It's challenging.
Here's definitely an award for those of you who stuck around until the end of the show. We're going to be autographing some of these mini posters for Kill la Kill If.
Yay!
And so if you want one of those, we're going to be picking people out of the chat. And so our mods are going to be looking through right now to pick some people out of the chat to give these away to. So start saying now whether you want them or not while we sign these out. And we're going to be picking those. We have a pretty decent stack here. And so do we know how many we're picking? Five winners. And so speak now or forever hold your peace, whether or not you want one. We'll be signing them live, as you can see. So you know they're genuine.
Genuine.
Absolutely
We
genuine.
don't have the Carrie Keranen stamp here. You know?
No, exactly.
No.
There's no
It's
industrial
a little
line.
bit different each time. Wait,
Oh, is there more?
wait.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't have.
You
Yeah.
have to write
Well, I just want to see.
line, right?
I know. I'm just gonna see how I'm seeing if I have time to go back and do that.
I think you do.
All right. Well, then.
While we're doing that, is there anything that you want to plug, James, while you're here?
For me, I mean, just watch CEO, watch EVO, and all the events coming up. We'll be doing commentary there. I mean, I've also been doing a lot more like content on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
youtube.com/UltraChenTV, and I've got my own stream, which is twitch.tv/jchenzor.
Nice.
So,
And I also see you have a Patreon, right?
yes, I do have a
Yes.
Patreon now. Yeah, I haven't talked about it as much as I probably should be.
Yeah,
Well,
you
now's the
should.
time.
I'm bad at plugging myself. Okay, I feel
I'll
bad.
plug for you.
Okay.
Go and subscribe to the James Chen.
Patreon.com/jchenzor.
There you go. Go and subscribe now.
Thank you.
Perfect. And what kind of content will you be getting off of your Patreon?
I've just been making a lot of fighting game content, and then also, I'll be opening lobbies where, Patreon subscribers can come and play games with me and stuff like that on
Awesome.
Twitch. So,
That's
yeah.
super cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then look forward to that. I'm sure that's on your Twitter, right? If you guys need a link.
Yeah.
And so that's
My pinned tweet.
your
My
pinned tweet. It's very professional.
Yeah.
And so you guys go check that out. Definitely. Thank you very much. A big fan of James's content. Cool. We're almost finished here.
Oh, I know, right? Still, bam, guys. I got 1.5 more
Whoa!
to go.
Snap.
Oh dang! What did you? what was that?
I have a ticket from our production crew.
Oh, okay.
about the
Professionally
winners.
delivered, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I now have the 5 winners have already been chosen. You guys
Dang.
were
Okay.
wicked
Okay.
fast. And so I'm going to be going in order from the top. The handwriting isn't the best, so I'm going to be doing my best.
Drum roll.
Drum roll. Our first winner is Blue 561. Definitely congratulations, Blue. A fan of the show, a buddy of mine, old Persona buddy. And so from
Oh, old friend of yours?
Oh, yeah.
Rigged.
Rigged, yes.
That's the FTC meme right there.
Rigged, collusion.
Yeah.
Arc System versus collusion out again. There's our first winner. L Dragon 1, I believe, is the next person who is winner there.
Yay.
Amexton. Give your handwriting
I
sucks.
think that was the old. That was one of the guys who asked the question.
Yes, that was one of the ladies who asked the
All
question.
right. A question and a prize.
Yes, congratulations.
Crushing
Yes.
it.
OG3SSAXX1. I'm not going to try to say that, but you are a winner, and we'll be getting one of these signed mini posters. And the last one is Conan Lightning. So the 5 of you are
That
the
was an
winners.
easy one.
Yes, that one I can do. That one I can handle.
Conan Lightning.
So the 5 of you will be receiving one of these beautiful signed mini posters
With the
by
quote on
yours
there.
truly,
With my
Carrie.
favorite quote.
Yes, as mentioned earlier on the show. Do not ask the sparrow how the eagle soars. It's glorious.
Why are you saying it?
You know what?
You did
You're
a
right.
really good
You're
job.
right.
You did
Oh,
a
thank
really
you.
good
I
job.
appreciate it. This is your kind
Like,
director side coming in.
Yeah. You should have said,
All right,
no,
all right.
can we get a little
since
more?
the man behind the camera is giving me sass. Everyone be quiet, and we're gonna let you say that line.
Oh, I thought
one
you were
more
gonna be like, everyone be quiet, and you
Oh,
were gonna
no.
try again.
Oh,
Oh, I thought you were trying again.
time.
You wanna do it with me?
Okay. Yes.
Ooh.
All right.
I'm gonna count down. I'm gonna count down,
All
okay?
right, I'm ready.
Like you have a lot
Okay.
of
There you go.
Well, you're also putting on the chin cuts, right? So it's like an
Yes.
effort. So you
All
can
right.
feel like
All right.
tension in the body. Ready?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Do not ask the sparrow how the eagle soars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
Thank you.
I feel like empowered.
Yeah.
Like,
I was giving you a high five, but I can't raise my
I
arm.
know, right?
Give me a low
Like
five.
little tap.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
I
That's the best I
appreciate
can
that.
do right now. I have so much appreciation for cosplayers.
Now imagine wearing that, but it's 120 degrees in
Yeah,
LA.
I know,
Yeah, there
right?
you go.
For the entire day,
The entire
with
day.
a giant wig on the
Yes,
head as
yes.
well.
In character,
Yeah.
posing
Yeah.
for photographers.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just jumping to Carrie. What do you want to plug while you're here? Anything else? You already mentioned Gundam's coming up. Something you worked on.
Oh yeah, so Gundam Seed and Gundam Seed Destiny are coming out sometime this summer. I'm told. I don't know what the exact date
Okay.
is. So that's coming out. I mean, obviously this is coming out.
Absolutely.
Trails of Cold Steel.
Oh.
I think just came out.
That's
So it's
so.
on.
We actually were standing right next to the Trails booth at E3, and so the Kill la Kill booth and the Trails booth were right next to each other, and I had no idea you were in it. So there you go.
I'm Sarah, America's favorite teacher.
They had headphones on that station, and we didn't, and so the person who was playing the demo might have gotten 2 of you yelling at the same time.
That would be
That's
funny.
very possible.
There you
Very
go.
possible.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yes, yeah, and then I directed and am playing Misato in Neon Genesis Evangelion, which
That's
is
very
just
exciting.
launched on Netflix Friday, so you can check that out. And then obviously I also just recently got announced as Sailor Galaxia, and the first set of that is already available, and you can pre-order the the finale. If you
Awesome.
kill all your favorite characters. Woo! So yeah, so
Cool.
that's what's up right now.
All right, then I think that just about does it. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
joining us,
having me.
both of you. It was awesome. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
You get to drive home very
Yes.
prideful.
Do I get like a certificate? Like,
I
first
can.
best high score.
You
I can mock
get
you
my
up.
tears.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna
Yeah,
bottle
like
my
a jar of
tears.
tears.
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
can put it
bottle
on my
my
shrine at
tears.
home.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we went a bit long this week,
Oh, sorry.
but don't apologize.
It's probably
No,
my
it was
fault.
great. Though.
This
It was
my
awesome.
fault.
Yes,
It
we
was
were talking
awesome.
about it during the break that so much interesting insight from you
Yeah.
about
Thank you.
directing and voice acting in general. So, all right, we will see you guys next time. Thank you guys for tuning in, and see you at CEO. Bye, guys.